busy schedules and joining us tonight. I hope you all enjoyed your Diwali festivities at home. We have with us tonight Speaker Pro Tempore, Mr. Brian Patrick Kennedy, and former representative of the state, Mr. Robert B. Lancia. Please welcome them with a huge round of applause. Before we proceed, a few important announcements. In case of a cultural emergency, please walk and do not dance your way through the nearest stair exits. Please keep your cell phones to mute, remain seated, and try to maintain a decorum of silence to avoid any distraction to our fellow performers. Mr. Brian Patrick Kennedy represents District 38 in Hopkinton and Westerly. He is a Speaker Pro Tempore and serves as a member on multiple House committees. Please welcome Mr. Kennedy.
Thank you very much, and it's an honor to be here this afternoon. I had the opportunity a couple of years ago to attend an event also here to celebrate all good things about India. Of course, this being the cultural fest, the feast of harmony, peace, and prosperity, enlightenment, triumph of good over evil, and all of the other wonderful things that this celebration is meant to convey. I had the good fortune back in 2017 to travel to India, and I made sure I wore my Indian tie today. That was such an honor for me. That time in 2017, I traveled to Mumbai, to New Delhi, and also to Kerala in the southwest corner. I'm happy that we're here in Rhode Island today and not in New Delhi, because if anyone saw the news this week, they know how bad the pollution is in New Delhi. People just are trying to stay inside and not go outside. During that particular trip, I had the opportunity to visit with many students. I visited a women's college called IP College for Women. I visited Amity University, and I also visited the University of Mumbai. And I've always enjoyed my opportunity to visit with the students at each one of those locations. We also had the good fortune to visit with some of the businesses, and we're happy to say that one of those businesses is now doing business in Rhode Island. So we'd like to thank Infosys for coming to Rhode Island. So again, for me, that was a great honor, but today we're looking forward to seeing the performances of the students and the young people. And we also have a box of citations that we have to give out. So we want to begin those now?
Sure. So we have citations for all the performers and volunteers who helped us manage this event. I'll call out the names and please step forward and receive your citation from Mr. Kennedy. IARI extends deep appreciation, Mr. Kennedy, for putting this together. Sayani Banerjee. She is one of the performers and choreographers. Khana Girls, they are a crew of choreographers and performers. Aarti Nambiar, Neha Swaroop Sharma, Neha Swaroop Sharma, Veena Haley, Kangana Gupta, Parul Rajdev, Aarti Nambiar, can we clap for these performers and choreographers? Rachna Agarwal, Aruna Mehla, Aruna Mehla, Unna Malai, Unna Malai is a volunteer for IARI and has been supporting us through class 2 or 3 events. Swati Domaria, it's good you all are getting a sneak peek at the costumes already, so the excitement is just beginning. Namrita Shah, Tanuja Premchandran, Anju Verma, Swati Baggu, Swati Baggu, Niharika Srivastav, Mahima Srivastav,
Sit down and take it.
Hani Khurana, Simran Anand, this was the Khanna Girls crew, ladies and gentlemen, who will be performing tonight. Manisha Singh, Bhumi Shukla, Bhumi Shukla, Shreya Mandalia, Swati Domaria, Sayani Banerjee, as a performer now, earlier as a choreographer. Monica Jaiswal, Diana Ranjit. That was last of the dream catchers. Anjali Rajan, Manisha Bayani. The team of decorators now. Namrita Shah. Aruna Mehla. Aruna Mehla. Rachna Agarwal. Nandita Rajesh. She is one of our Bharatanatyam performers and a very good face. Aarti Sharma. Priya Bansal. Vandana Gupta. And now our volunteers. Parag Shah. He always helps us with the sound. Ghanshyam Chhabra. Our photographer tonight and also choreographer. Many of you must know him from all the Rajasthani folks he put together. Ravi Mehla, also a photographer for multiple events. And Sekhar Kopla, who put together the Athletics Day and other volunteering events.
And the last and final one is to the President of the India Association of Rhode Island. And many of these sound very much the same for those who have already received one, but I did want to read this one. State of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations, be it hereby known to all that the Rhode Island House of Representatives hereby offers its sincerest congratulations to the India Association of Rhode Island, Nikhil Shah, President, in recognition of the observance of the Diwali Cultural Festival 2019, celebrating the Hindu Festival of Lights and the triumph of light over dark, good over evil, and the blessings of victory, freedom, and enlightenment. The entire membership extends its very best wishes on this memorable occasion, given this 8th day of November 2019 at the State House, Providence, Rhode Island, by me, Representative Brian Patrick Kennedy, Speaker Pro Tem Nicholas Mattiello, Speaker K. Joseph Shikarchi, Majority Leader, and Blake Filippi, Minority Leader. So, have a wonderful Diwali.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. Our next speaker for the evening is a very familiar face with the Indian community. ardent attendee and supporter of multiple IARI events, an educational enthusiast, please welcome none other than the former state representative and now a community advocate, Mr. Robert B. Lancia. Although speeches are never easy, but I'm sure he didn't escape for that. He's a pro speaker. We also have today evening with us the General Treasurer to the State of Rhode Island, Mr. Sate Magaziner. Please welcome him with a round of applause. So we have Mr. Robert Lancia here. Let's welcome him.
Good afternoon. My wife Marianne and I, we really have become so involved and so close with the Indian community, and it has been an absolute honor and blessing for the two of us. And making the connection with Rhode Island, but then making the connection with our friends from Massachusetts too. It's just been a phenomenal experience, and we've enjoyed every moment of it. And as you know, I think we're on almost every event you have, and people do take note of that on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And but of all the groups that we've been involved with, there's just a special relationship here, and we just continue to look forward. We've gotten so involved that we have a personal relationship now with the Consul General of New York. We're personal friends with the India ambassador. We get invited to Washington, we get invited to New York. In fact, I think we're getting invited to New York for, you might have heard, Jabor Foot USA, right? The Indian nonprofit that makes the basic prostheses for people. They've done clinics all over the world, 1.8 million. And they're going to have a special event in Congress on the 20th. And there's a few of us that are going to be down there for that event. So I was very pleased to get an invitation to that. So it's very exciting doing that this month. So I just want to thank you. It won't be long, but just every one of you. And are so special to my wife and I. We love you all, and we just so enjoy being involved in everything. Now, I do have one thing I did want to share, and I couldn't do it the night of. We had a young lady who had a special night. Nandita, come on up here for a second. This young lady, my wife and I, just have been so involved with her over the last few years. But she had a special final exam, really, with her dance and everything. And to think you're how old? 12 years old. And to see what she did that night was unbelievable. The length of the performance, the change of costumes, everything. So I reached out to the Consul General, and he graciously sent a gift and also a citation. But I also reached out to one other gentleman. I reached out to the Indian ambassador. But at the time, as I said, he was a little busy because there was a special visitor coming from India who wound up in Houston and then New York. You know who that was, right? The Prime Minister, right? So anyway, it took a little doing, but I took one of your programs and I sent it to Washington, and we got a letter congratulating you from the ambassador. All right, so I wanted to give you that. And just the one other thing that I'm going to say is, when you talk about a group of people, a culture that celebrates family, entrepreneurship, and their faith, the Indian community sets a very high bar. And I've even gotten phone calls from people in Ohio and Texas and Atlanta because they see what I post on Twitter. But we had some friends who had to go back to India. And they said, Representative Lancia, is there any way you could help us? Because we have so many Indian folks that want to come into this country, and they're being limited. And in fact, one particular senator from Illinois is kind of holding that up. But, that's something that a lot of people are working hard on. And, I can't think of a group of people we would want more to be a part of this country and this state of Rhode Island. than the Indian community. Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you, Mr. Lancia. Many of you may or may not know we have a temple in Rhode Island, which is heavily supported by Mr. Nagesh Kamsani and Ram Adipuri as the volunteers. They're here today. I request all the community members to please join the events and be an active participant in the temple. I'll request now the General Treasurer to the Secretary to the State of Rhode Island, Mr. Sate Magaziner, to say a few words.
Thank you all. I want to start by recognizing my colleagues who are here, our terrific Secretary of State, Nellie Gorbea, Representative Brian Kennedy, former Representative Bob Lancia. Thank you all for your service and for being here today. To all of the leadership from the India Association of Rhode Island, Nikhil Shah and Santosh Bahara, and everyone who is involved in making this event possible, thank you for your service and your leadership. And in particular, to all of you for coming out today. This is a day of celebration. It is a day where we are celebrating the contributions of the Indian community in Rhode Island and in our nation. And it is also another opportunity for us to celebrate these greater ideals that bind us together. India, of course, being the largest democracy in the world, the United States being the oldest democracy in the world, currently the oldest democracy in the world. The cultural ties between our two nations, the economic ties that are only growing stronger here in Rhode Island with the presence of Emphasis and others. So there's a lot to celebrate. And, you know, in these times when it is so easy to feel frustrated, to feel sad, to feel fed up with our politics, the ugliness that we see on TV and on the internet, it's, you know, always a good time for us to remember that famous Martin Luther King quote that darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. So today, as we celebrate this festival of lights, this holiday of lights, let's all recommit ourselves to being those lights in the world that drive out the darkness and that build a better community. So thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Magaziner. Very well said. Let's be that light for the world. We also have the pleasure of having amongst us the Secretary of the State, Ms. Nellie M. Gorbea. I'll request her to share her thoughts now.
Thank you. And I echo, of course, our esteemed General Treasurer's words. It's wonderful to be here with Representative Patrick Kennedy and, of course, former Representative Bob Lancia. It's wonderful to be here with all of you. In my office, we've had the pleasure of now having a number of members of the Indian community that have joined the Department of State and has enriched not just our lives as we learn more about the different cultures of India and everything that stands for, but also in their contributions to the state of Rhode Island. And so it's not just the emphasis in the private sector, but also in the public sector. We have people who are on a daily basis making Rhode Island's state government work better, whether that be our Chief Information Officer, Vijay Kumar, or the various people that have worked on different systems in my office as well. It is really a pleasure to have you here as partners in improving the state of Rhode Island. This particular festival has been a really welcome moment because these are tough times, and if we do not take time to celebrate the light, to remind ourselves that we are all children of a light of some kind, then life can get very, very difficult. And nothing better than the arts, than dance, than culture. A few hours ago, I put on Spotify for a minute and was hearing some of my music from Puerto Rico, and I heard this one song, and it was so happy. And I remember feeling completely lifted, and I hope that is exactly what you will feel here as well when you share your dance, your song, your very much culture with everybody here today. And so thank you to the organizers, thank you to the India Association. it is always a labor of love when you have a cultural association that brings people together. And so I am honored to be with you here today and bring you